नमस्कार. ह्या खासा लाईव्ह डिबेटात तुमकां सगळ्यांक येवकार. अमित शहाची सभा तुम्ही आयकली सकाळी आयिल्ले ते गोंया भितर आनी ताचे उपरांत ज्यो घडामोडी घडल्यात त्यो तुमचे म्हऱ्यान आमी हाडत आसात. ते स्पेशल स्टेटसाचेर उलयले, बीफ बॅनाचेर उलयले आनी आतांच्या सभे भितर तांणी 1 वर्साच्या मोदीच्या ह्या कार्यकाळाचो एक आढावो घेतलो. गोंया खातीर कितें हातूंत भितर आनी ओवरऑल सेंट्रल गव्हर्मेंटाचे परफॉर्मन्स कितली सातिस्फेद करपा सारकें आसा हाजेर आमी भासाभास करतात. 3 मानेस्त आमचे पयले आसात ते सोशल एक्टिविस्ट आनी कमेंटेटर डॉक्टर ऑस्कर रिवेलो. स्वागत तुमचें. दुसरे आसात ते म्हजे बरोबर गोंयचे नामनेचे पॉलिटिकल एनालिस्ट क्लिओफास बाब पुतीन. स्वागत. आनी तिसरे आसात म्हजे बरोबर चार्टर्ड अकाउंटंट आनी एनालिस्ट संतोष बाब केकरे. हांव सुरवात तुमचे कडच्यान करता. तुमी आझाद मैदानार आशिल्ले बी, तुमी भाशणूय आयकलां. वॉट इज युअर फर्स्ट इम्प्रेशन? यू आर इम्प्रेस्ड, happy?
In fact, I was more impressed about the speech of the Chief Minister. As I mentioned to you earlier, a very dignified speech and a very rich speech. Coming to Mr. Amit Shah, he was talking about the national issues, what the party has done at the national level, which may not find very much connect with the Goans as such. So more impressive speech was of the Chief Minister. Was come of age. Come of age.
There was lot of Congress bashing. I think he spoke for around 40 minutes and त्या 40 मिनिटांतले म्हाका दिसता more than 50% of the space was given to Congress bashing. 1 year later, Amit Shah getting into so much of Congress bashing, how are you looking at it?
See, actually, after 1 year, there is nothing much to celebrate. The government has not been spectacular in that sense. But somehow they have arranged 200 press conferences, 200 special meetings and 5,000 Jan Sabhas. I look at it as somehow they have been pushed to the corner by this Soot Boot Ki Sarkar. And from that perspective, they somehow are trying to give a new impression, a new perception to the people. And that is why they have started a new channel now, the Kisan channel. The Prime Minister's speech at Mathura has been only on the poor. So somehow they are trying to change the perception of the people.
1 year later, right now they are fighting a perception battle.
No government.
1 year later, it is a perception battle.
No government is scrutinized to this extent, as my friend Kenkre was saying. Never. But what happens is when you organize 5,000 sabhas, when you organize 200 press conferences, the media also will follow you. And it is from that perspective that this is what has happened.
This government is being subjected to unfair scrutiny. 1 year later, although government is projecting itself that they have achieved so many things. Amit Shah said that Congress asked us, what have you done in 1 year? He said, we have at least given you a visible government and a speaking prime minister. But don't ask that question. Over scrutiny and fair or unfair?
Kityasani Pramod, to my mind, at least over the last perhaps 10 years, with the advent of particularly the electronic media and the social media, the whole issue of governance in this country, this is my frank opinion, has become about positioning, has become about branding, and has become about grandstanding. You've got to perform on the stage, as it were. So even to my mind, sometimes pretty idiotic statements of Rahul Gandhi become headline news. I do not see the validity of that. So, or a counter by Amit Shah or a counter by the BJP people, that becomes another headline news. So I don't know how much of it is really media driven. So everybody is really, every politician to my mind is actually playing to the gallery, is playing to the media, including my beloved Arvind Kejriwal, who is my leader, is playing to the gallery. So in this, what tends to happen is you create these kind of shifts in perception. And so therefore it's about, like, you know, it's basically a game of chess that everybody is playing on the chessboard, and you in the media keep on following. To my mind, who is driving the agenda today is unfortunately the media. And the media, to my mind, is not asking the right questions.
Which is very unfortunate.
No. So it's not it's driving the agenda in terms of your TRP ratings, in terms of this bombastic statements, in terms of this slugfests, but you are not addressing genuine issues. So we don't have discussions in the media. You don't call for discussions here to talk about certain statistical data on the poor, on agrarian crisis, on that's all boring. That goes on Rajya Sabha TV and nobody even bothers about that. And neither are the politicians through institutional mechanisms trying to take care of these particular issues. So to my mind, this is like a whole, Amitabh Bachchan, Amjad Khan, Akshay Kumar. You go to Inox and you see it, and you come into Prudent also. And
the second issue that I was asking even Cleophas also, the Congress bashing after 1 year should have been reduced.
No, that's precisely what I'm trying to say. That is exactly what I'm trying to say. So nobody is prepared to discuss and engage the people of India about issues. So it becomes easier for an Amit Shah or Prime Minister Modi to bash Rahul Gandhi, because that's what you give. You give prime importance.
So Amit Shah and Narendra Modi have become Jai and Viru, and they are presenting Congress as Gabbar.
But for this 1 year, we have had so many headlines and so many speeches that it has been a diet of speeches.
It still looks like it's a campaign trail. We are still on the campaign trail.
And
there is nothing about genuine issues on the ground.
Oscar, they may be right, because there will be elections in Bihar.
Yeah.
There will be elections in Uttar Pradesh.
The whole thing
there were elections in Delhi. So
the whole thing is to pander to the people's mindset and to the people's heart. It's fair political strategy. I'm not saying it's unfair political strategy. It's perfectly fair political strategy to use the media to get there. It happens in America. It happens in the West.
My question is,
strengthen institutions? Do we strengthen institutions to improve governance? Let me make that point. What I'm trying to say is that the BJP is now falling into its own trap of rhetoric and bombast, but they are not strengthening institutions to give you deliverables of governance on the ground. And that will eventually
while doing this grandstanding, do you mean to say that BJP is neglecting governance?
It's not neglecting governance, but it's not paying adequate attention to institutions to deliver that governance. Now, Swachh Bharat becomes a huge thing as far as the media is concerned, but until you can percolate it down to the grassroots, the panchayats, the gram sabhas, the municipalities, they actually engage in Swachh Bharat on the ground. That will never become visible.
So there was a mudda ashillo ki government looks like forever in a campaign mode. And Amit Shah muddo kadlo ki finally you have a prime minister who is communicating. Finally you have a prime minister who is putting forth his ideas, communicating with the electorate. How are you looking at it? Dotaran mhale in this whole drama of grandstanding, is the governance getting neglected or backseat?
So I will come to your earlier point first. You said comparison with Congress. Now 10 years Congress was ruling, and now this is your first year. So automatically there will be comparison. When the SSC results come out, percentages, first thing you compare with earlier year. So how can you not compare? In the next year if they start doing it, it is wrong. Now let me tell you only 5 major points what they have achieved in half a minute. GST, landmark change, no corruption, correct? Thirdly, you have a very strong Prime Minister as compared to the very weak Prime Minister. Fourthly, Make in India, which is going to transform India over the 5 years. And lastly, the schemes for the poor, Jandan, pension, all those things. Due to all these, Times of India has given a 77.5% distinction rating for Modi. So governance is not at all neglected. But ruling a complex country like India is extremely difficult. And any person, however big he may be, he will take at least 1 year to learn. And so we have done all the groundwork and we are in takeoff stage now.
About this 77%, about this 77%, CNN gives them 72%. India Today says 54%. If you look at the India Today survey, 54%. Now, where is your 77 and 54% of India Today?
No, Times of India is the highest circulated daily in the world.
My question is same. The points that he raised. A very communicative Prime Minister who has clear ideas. He is putting for Make in India. He is putting for Jandan.
I will tell you. Before that, see, I will say that on 3 areas he could be given some marks. One is assertive leadership, but this is opposed to a collective leadership. One. Second is the devolution of money to the states. Second. And the third is the coal and the spectrum auction. But the coal and the spectrum auction has been directly court monitored. So if you look at this, the only one point which can be taken is the assertive leadership.
And corruption.
Wait, when it comes to corruption, I will tell you. See, he says that there is no corruption. But who is there to find out whether there is corruption or not? There is no
CBC. You must give credit. You must give credit.
I am giving you credit. See, there is no corruption scandal, that is what you say. There is no chief information commissioner. There is no chief vigilance commissioner.
They are going
There
to
is
come.
no Lokpal.
They are all
No,
going
I
to come.
think
They are all
in
going to
short,
come.
in short, what I think.
In any case, the 2003 and 2004 scandals of the last government were seen in 2011.
Okay.
No, but fundamentally, I think what Cleopat is trying to say, there may not be whole scale corruption, but retail corruption is happening like it happens in Goa.
Brother, my question is very
100%.
clear. If you listen to the Prime Minister, may it be Make in India, may it be Janadhan, may it be the insurance scheme, he is putting forth very clear ideas. May it be Swachh Bharat. He is communicating, he is putting some concepts in the mind of the general electorate.
Absolutely.
Can you take it away from him?
No, you
See,
cannot.
as far as communication, he gets full marks.
No. Let me,
No,
let's
putting
give
forth those ideas.
Let's give the devil his due, as it were. Certainly, all these schemes that the Prime Minister talks about, all these grand plans that the time, from Swachh Bharat to whatever, they are wonderful plans. Nobody says no. But the devil will lie in the details. The devil will lie in the implementation. That is exactly the point I'm trying to make. Because today, the be-all and the end-all is the PMO. The moment the PMO says something or doesn't say something, that's what happens on the ground. But unless, forget about financial devolution of powers, unless you devolve powers to the smaller, grassroots levels, these plans will never fructify on the ground. It's just impossible for it to be fructified by a magic wand from Delhi. It's, from 7 Racecourse Road. It cannot happen that way. So the danger for Modi, who does not believe in collective leadership, to a certain extent, he would probably definitely achieve many things that the Congress would never be able to achieve with its, large-scale corruption that went on. But unless this government, and it's not in the genetic DNA of this government, unless this government begins to strengthen institutions of governance, starts actually believing that there is collective leadership, you see Prime Minister Modi, who's done a great external affairs job, in my opinion. But where is Sushma Swaraj, who's the external affairs minister? So that teamwork is eventually going to cost the BJP.
No, but when it comes to institutions of governance, as you were saying, look at the bills that they are passing. They are bringing the bills before the Lok Sabha. They are getting passed. Not a single bill is going to the standing committee.
Right.
The bills are going to standing committee only when there is opposition from the Congress.
Correct.
Because there is no scrutiny of anything that is happening.
So that is my second
issues of
question.
governance.
That is my second question.
It's an important tool of the
Absolutely. So institutions and constitutional and institutional mechanisms of democracy will not be respected by the BJP because it's not in the genetic makeup of the BJP.
You brought out that very fair point of Congress. Congress also has failed in this last year to get a grip on issues as an effective opposition.
Congress has failed as an opposition. See, they were 44 in number and they could not perform. So they have failed in its duty as an opposition. But somewhere down the line, in the past 1 month, Rahul Gandhi coming from hibernation and speaking of his branding, as Oscar puts it, pushed this government to the corner. And that is where this 1 year jumla comes.
एक बुद्धिमान मनशान गोंयचो आनी फक्त गोंयचो मनीस अशें म्हणपाक जाता. गोंयच्या बीजेपी की गोंयच्या सरकारा बद्दल असो उलयता. ताणें म्हाका सांगलें की कितेंय सांग तूं दोतोर, बीजेपी मरे गोंयांत तूं 3rd class. Congress 4th class. I think that is the ultimate.
That is the okay.
I'll
come to Goa and I'll start with you.
Hopefully, Aam Aadmi Party can get somewhere eventually.
On collective leadership of Modi ji.
Okay.
It's a very important issue. Now he virtually uprooted Parrikar from Goa. Correct? He waited for months together. Why? He wanted a competent man who's technically qualified, non-corrupt, hard-working person for defense ministry, particularly in the light of Make in India. He's an engineer. Now he has given him this thing. I have visited Parrikar's office in Delhi, and he has got complete freedom to do whatever he wants. Only crucial issues are discussed with the Prime Minister. There's the notion that Modi is ruling everything is completely wrong.
There is nobody is remote control.
Nobody is remote control. But you have to remember that he is the leader.